So these are some of the relics here at the Presidential Museum here, Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum in Springfield, Illinois. This is pretty amazing stuff here. You can see some of the artifacts here. These are some of the most central artifacts. This is very key to Illinois history. So there's an old drum here. So apparently they were really central here in the Civil War, and you can see what the drum looks like. It's a nice old chair here. Camp life for an officer. A little bit of a description there. You can see what the old chair looks like. I believe that would be an officer's chair. The road to Gettysburg. Some anti-slavery memorabilia, as it were. Grant waves off the presidency. Little description there. You can pause this video if you like. Kind of gives you an idea what the Presidential Museum is like here, Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum in Springfield. Behind the scenes. This is pretty amazing stuff. Lincoln's Massachusetts roots. That's what this is describing here. So yeah, this is amazing. You can kind of see what this is like here. Statue of Lincoln. So that's what it looks like. So we're going to kind of walk around here, see some of the other objects of interest here. So this is sort of like a recreation here of Lincoln history. Pretty amazing. It has some Union soldiers there. Gives you an idea what Mary Lincoln would have looked like, possibly. A little bit of a description there. It's kind of hard to see with the light the way it is. Again, you can pause the video. Washington's political women. Oh boy, don't know what she's doing. So that's what it looks like. So you can kind of see here a little bit of a description here. Nice dress. Mary McLennan. Yeah. Interesting. Some nice flowers. Okay. So what we see here. Kind of an interesting place here. There's the war begins. That's what this is described as. I'm gonna show it to you on the panoramic view. Yep. And the war was in 1861. Secession and rebellion. Texas was on the losing side. This is the early war, learning to be a president. This is the Illinois history, telling about the greatness of Abraham Lincoln here. So yeah, this is the stories here that you see about Abraham Lincoln. Sort of like, I think a lot of these are comics from newspapers and stuff. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. It's one of those things you can pause the video here and kind of take a look at some of this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. And you hear all these different voices, and there's even a strange looking door. This door is, you can see what that looks like. So yep, this is what it is. Yeah, if you come here, this is the kind of experience you get. Yeah, people said all kinds of bad things about Lincoln, it looks like. Yeah. So, this, yeah, all this weird stuff that people had to say. Yeah, and it just gets worse and worse, and sort of dismal, sort of crooked. This is, believe it or not, a display in Springfield, Illinois, where Lincoln is depicted sort of as a demonic creature even. Yeah, kind of reminds me of how they put some stuff in the state capitol that probably shouldn't belong. I know that doesn't belong. So yeah, these crooked doors. Yeah, wonder where those crooked doors even lead. So yep. It's what it looks like here. Out there locked. The Lincoln Presidential Museum here. You can kind of see what this is, what it looks like. It's all designed to be very, very crooked. So you get the idea that these are sort of crooked displays. That people were very crooked here in making them. And put it on a panoramic and you can see. Yep. And then over here, this is where, you know, you're looking here and there's this very strange and odd, yes, display. Triumph and Tragedy, that's the description here. So you guys watching at home can pause the video. You can see this is depicting a very tragic scene, undoubtedly in Lincoln history. Yeah. So, learning about Lincoln here. You guys at home can enjoy this. This is nothing like visiting Ronald Reagan's home in Dixon. So yeah, this is Willie Dies. That's what the reference is. A lot of the Lincoln family, they died. Actually, everybody that lived in Lincoln's time, that lived a natural life, has died, undoubtedly. But they died in ways that were not so good, and they had been terrified. I didn't want to say terrified, had terrifying deaths. That's what I mean to say sometimes, like with what happened to Lincoln. So, yeah, it's one of the things that happens there sometimes. So you can kind of see what this looks like here. This is a sort of like a, yeah, an old chimney. I don't want to say chimney, but like cook stove. That's what I mean to say. Old cook stove. Yeah. And you see what this looks like here. And overhearing some stuff about setting people free. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a dark area. Very dark area. Yeah. Hearing about how nobody that's a white president would set black people free. That's the yeah. Seeing this, we're coming up on sort of like a display here of an early Lincoln, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland. Some of the maps here depicted some of the old maps, and you can kind of see what that looks like. Looks like Andrew Jackson up there. There's Lincoln. You can see here, you know, Lincoln at the end of an otherwise routine meeting. Gives you a little bit of an idea there. Some of the stuff that happened. Secretary of State William Stewart describes a little bit about him in there. The Treasury of Secretary Solomon P. Chase, Attorney General Edward Bates, and Secretary of the Interior, Caleb Smith. And here it is. There they are, they're sitting, they're thinking. There's Lincoln sort of presiding over them. Here's some of the maps here showing the succession of the nation, it looks like. Kentucky, and how backward that was. So, yep. Yeah. Post General Montgomery Blair. Yep. Secretary of the Navy. Yeah. Yeah, this is sort of like their war room, I guess. Secretary of War, Edward Stanton. So there they are. They're all, you know, one guy's got his hands in his head in his hands. Yep. Just thinking about it, how bad it is. Yeah. So yeah, this is where they're all discussing the war, obviously, and yeah, the Emancipation Proclamation. It goes too far, they're saying. It doesn't go far enough. Don't sign it. And then there's Lincoln there. There's Lincoln at the head of this. And all these voices, they have quite a bit to say here. So yeah. And then you see Lincoln with his papers here. The Emancipation Proclamation, September 22nd, 1862. Yep. So there's some papers here, and you hear all these voices. That's kind of emulating what it was like back then. So yeah, let's see what this is like.
There is not a nation of this earth which will practice in a more shocking bloody than the people of the United States.
There's the Emancipation Proclamation right there. You can read it at home if you like. But there's Lincoln there in his desk.
Misguided proclamation is
I think that's supposed to be the Emancipation Proclamation right there. So, yep. So you can kind of see what this looks like. Yeah. Black troops go to war. That's what this says here. And you can see these African American troops. It looks like Union soldiers dying and fighting for freedom. Yeah, fighting for freedom. Yeah. This is pretty amazing stuff here. Oh boy. And here we're seeing some old uniforms here. Volunteer infantry. Yeah. There it is. Pretty amazing stuff. Yeah. This casualties. Showing the casualties here by date. uniforms. Pretty amazing. These days, you really don't see too much about the Civil War, except for here, of course. So yeah, that's what it looks like here. And some old photos. The War Gallery. That's what it is. Pretty amazing. There's Lincoln. Different years of Lincoln's life. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln, hands and face. Castings were made by a well-known sculptor. You can actually see what he would have looked like, more so. Different years. Yep. So yeah. Why you have castings of Lincoln's face, I don't know. But yeah. That's what it looks like. So Abraham Lincoln went through a tremendous fight. Tremendous fight in his lifetime. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. A soldier's fate. It's hard to think that all these people that you hear about fought in the Civil War, that were Union soldiers, basically fought for freedom and fought in a very, very gruesome battle. So this is the tide turned. Illinois is reelected. Lincoln is reelected. The war ends. The tide turns. Yeah. God grant victory. That's what it says. You can see all these paintings here depicting different times in the life of Lincoln and the war. Springfield votes for Lincoln. It's the re-election of Abraham Lincoln. Some old documents here. It's Illinois history. Lincoln is reelected. Want to zoom in here, kind of see the old newspaper. Hey. So that's what we see. War is over. That's what this is saying here. Yeah. Ford's Theater. Yeah. Pretty amazing. Entrance, Forbes Theater, 25 cents. So there it is. This is a giant display here. There's John Wilkes Booth. There's some chairs. Then you see Lincoln here. Looks like his wife, hopefully. And there they are. And then you can see there's Washington, and there, he's kind of sitting there, a little bit on, yeah. So Lincoln's last words preserved here. Good thing to pause at home and read. Lincoln's last hours. Yep. So that's what it is. And again, you guys at home can see this. It's what it looks like. Pretty amazing. The bad things that happened to Lincoln there. Yeah, so that's the War Department. So Lincoln's long trip home, and train carries Lincoln body back to Springfield, 1865. Lincoln Line in state. Okay. The funeral train. It tells you about the whole procedure there that followed. It tells you about the whole Lincoln body was taken through the country for display so that a grief-stricken populace could say farewell. That's what it says. Yeah. Then here you see, this is pretty amazing stuff here. This is not actually where he is buried. The Lincoln tomb is where he is buried. But with this, and you can pause it at home, you get a sense for what it was like to go to, Lincoln's funeral there. So, yep, you see the flowers, and there you see the, it's like Christmas trees almost. This big dome. Yep. Gives you an idea what it would have been like. See, and you see George Washington there. And you see Lincoln right in front. His coffin, as it were. Okay, so there's a little description here. Washington the father, and then Lincoln the savior is what it says. Sooner than surrender these principles, I would be, it said, assassinated on the spot. So that's what it says, that he would rather die than to surrender the principles of freedom. We're going to kind of zoom in here a little bit. So, yep, that's what it looks like. These are some nice flowers. You can see behind it here is the flag, or a depiction of it at least. Yeah. He was famous for saying, "A nation divided against itself cannot stand." That it's going to be either basically free or slave, but it cannot be both. It's a description there, Christ saying that a house divided against itself cannot stand. It's going to be one thing or the other, but it cannot be both. Because otherwise it cannot stand. So yeah, this is a little bit here on the relics of renovation, Lincoln's tomb. Very good place to see. So yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, goodbye for now.